Jim Leyritz, thanks to Red Wing Shoes with Armen Levack, 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com, every Wednesday at 5:15. And, Jim, it's a very special weekend for you, man. Old Timers Day weekend. The Yankees are welcoming you back to their events, if you will, first time in a while. What was it like when first of all, you broke the news to Levack and myself. We were the first ones to hear that you got your invitation to Old Timers Day a few months ago, back in April. What was it like when you got that in the mail, Jim?
Well, it was one of those things where my Michelle, my better half, called me up. I was up in New York, and she called me up and she said, "Are you sitting down?" And I said, "No, what's wrong?" And she said, "Well, you need to sit down." And I thought something was really drastically wrong. Something happened to somebody in my family, my kids, something. And she was crying, and I said, "Well, what's wrong?" And she said, "I just got home, and I found this envelope by the door. I opened it up because I thought it was a check or something because she needed a check. And she said, it's an invitation from the New York Yankees for Old Timers Day." She said, "Can you believe it? It finally came around." And I was like, wow. It did make me have to sit down for a second because this was something that, for such a long time I had wondered, after going through everything I went through to prove that, all that stuff never happened. And when I was exonerated from all of it, then I thought I'd be right back. And unfortunately, Mr. Steinbrenner was not around. And it took the powers to be a little bit longer to let me come back. And it was a pretty amazing feeling that this was the year that they finally decided to do it. And I think, like I said, I told you guys, it all happened. It was all in the works. They've been telling me for a couple of years that next year's the year, next year's the year. And then when I ran into Jenny Steinbrenner this year at the fantasy camp, and I mentioned it to her, she said, "Well, I think it's about time. It does happen." So I think she gave it the final push, and I'm looking forward to it. And I can't think of anything better to be back number one for Old Timers Day, but also to be on hand to see Willie Randolph honored too, because Willie's a very good friend of mine, and he was kind of cast aside a little bit by the Yankees, a while back. And for him now to be able to be welcomed back like this, it's going to be a great day.
All right, Jim, take us to the game. What is the thing? When you think about it, what is that one thing that you're most looking forward to being back for Old Timers Day?
You know what it is? It's when you get introduced. I remember my very first one, and I was introduced right after Jim Abbott. And, it's standing on the field with Abbott, hearing the names, Reggie Jackson, Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra, at that time, Phil Rizzuto was still alive. To hear our names mentioned in the same breath as those guys, and to think about the Yankees that stood there before us and everything that the Yankees meant. And then, like I told Abbott, Jimmy wasn't here as long as I was, and I was like, you know what? I spent 13 years of my life with this organization. It's like my second family. And you know what? Just to be a part of that was great. And then, when it was taken away, I was still there working for the Yankees, still working in the things, but wasn't allowed to be part of it. It's going to be really special to stand on those sidelines this year and just be able to say, you know what? I'm back fully with the family. Now that I'm hoping that with this Old Timers Day invite that, Andy Pettitte Day is coming up pretty soon, I'm assuming that there's no way that I wouldn't be invited to that since I pretty much made his career in 95 and 96. I'm assuming I'll be back for that day, and then hopefully from then on be involved in everything that goes on there.
Jim Leyritz with Armen Levack, former Yankee, two-time World Series champion, on your home for New York Sports, 104.5 The Team. Thanks to Red Wing Shoes every Wednesday at 5:15. Jim, you played for 6 teams in your career. You had 2 different stints with the Yankees. What makes the Yankees different? What makes the Yankees special, in your own words?
Well, 27 championships doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the tradition, just the way that Mr. Steinbrenner, enforced it. When you came to New York, you played for the team on the front. There was no name on the back. It was just that reverence, and then playing in front of the New York crowd. One of the things I remember Mark Messier and Gretzky saying when they had won other places, but they finally won in New York, there is really nothing like winning in New York and being on that center stage. And to me, that was the ultimate crowning thing, because I was a kid that came from Cincinnati, Ohio, lived in the city for the 7 or 8 years I played, took the 4 train every day to the stadium, I really felt like what it was like to be part of that city. And when we won in '96, the way they embraced us, there was nothing like it.
Jim, you're killing me here, man. You're killing me. I'm waiting for you to cry. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm trying to go Barbara Walters on you here, and you're holding it together.
Excited. You're not getting a Roy Forrest out of me.
You're gonna cry. You think you'll cry? You be moved to tears this weekend? You think? Are you a cry guy? Do you have some man tears every now and then?
Well, you know what? I'll be overwhelmed, I'm sure, a little bit. At the same time, this is something that I've been waiting for. Is the reason I fought for those 3 years to prove the truth, because I didn't want my name, dragged through the mud like it was. And, is it going to move me to tears? I don't know. You can't really tell in this situation. But I will tell you this, it will be an honor, and it will be something that I know that if I'm not crying, the hairs on my arms will be standing up, because I'll be pretty excited being there.
Cool. Awesome. Old Timers Day this weekend. Jim Leyritz will be a part of it, and proud and happy to have him on our station every week, Wednesdays at 5:15. Jim, when you look at these Yankees and what they're doing right now, Masahiro Tanaka goes out and throws his third performance from rehab, and it was a good one, again, for 3 times now. It was a loss, but that's only because the team can't score more than 1 run. We talked to Wallace Matthews yesterday of ESPN, and he said that the team is starting to not worry about his injury as much. As a former player, when you look at Tanaka, how much easier are you now feeling about Tanaka's injuries in his past?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week after the second start. Is this something that to be concerned about still? It always is, because it's in the elbow. But the injury that he had, and when he mentioned his injury in the beginning, a lot of us didn't believe that it wasn't related. And I think he's proven with these 3 starts that the wrist and the forearm tightness had really nothing to do with that injury, and was something that was just popped up, and it seems to be gone now. And the one thing I do like is, his velocity's back, and he's not using the splitter as much, but he's using it when needed. And I think, to me, I think that's a strong sign that, maybe he is over that threshold that we were worried about.
Speaking of pitchers, Nathan Eovaldi has his worst inning as a pro last night against the Marlins. Only makes it through 2/3, gives up 8 runs. As the catcher, is there anything you can do to stabilize a guy? And on top of that, is there a point where you just look over to the dugout and go, "Please come get him. He's out."
Well, yeah. I mean, there are times that you do kind of look at the dugout and say, "Okay, guys, I can see it. It's plain as day. Come get him." At the same time, Joe Girardi's got to think about his bullpen and think about do I sacrifice this guy for the day because it'll help me tomorrow? And the thing with Eovaldi is he's so up and down. It kind of reminds me of NBA basketball. It could be you could be down by 30 points in one quarter, and then the next quarter you're tied up. You don't know what you're going to get from him, and that's the problem. It's at some point I'm sure Joe Girardi's sitting there going, okay, it just takes us one pitch to change the inning. Can he do it? And then boom, it doesn't happen. And I can see Joe keeping him in a little bit longer, just because he's hoping that he turns that corner. But unfortunately, yesterday he didn't do that.
Jim Leyritz with Armen and Levack, 104.5 The Team. The former Yankee joins us every Wednesday. Thanks to Red Wing Shoes. Jim, Ivan Nova should be coming back next Wednesday, hopefully, against the Phillies is what they are, the target date for his return. He has not pitched in over a year at the top level after having Tommy John surgery. As a catcher, do you have a pep talk with a guy before his first return back at this stage with everything he's been through?
Oh yeah, you go out there first of all, you talk to him, and you figure out, before the start, how do you feel? What do you want to do? What do you want to limit, wise as far as sliders, curveballs, things that might take, some of the, what don't you feel comfortable with? And you try to stay away. You're going to have to use it once in a while, but you try to stay away from it as much as possible with what the guy's uncomfortable with. And that's an important thing, especially in that first start, because you don't want him out there trying to, we always say this, when we're only given 80%, that's when we get hurt. And you want to make sure that he's 100% confident in everything that he's going to throw to you, and he's not going to try to back off on anything. And, you do have to talk to him about that before he goes out of the mound.
Now, the drama of Nova coming up is that someone has to go to the bullpen. Capuano's been that long reliever. The target for everyone has been Adam Warren going to the bullpen. Is there any chance that you can see where maybe after Eovaldi has an outing like this that maybe Eovaldi goes, even though Warren's the guy who's more comfortable with the bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that Joe's got to figure out. Joe's got to figure out what is best, for the situation. I think Warren might be your more consistent guy out of the bullpen, so you could trust him more. That's why maybe he gets the call, and you want to give Eovaldi a chance to keep getting, because like I said, he's firing at ice. You want him to be able to get that consistency, and the only way to get that is to not go back and forth. So I think Warren would be your logical guy to do that. Again, that's something that Joe has to decide, who he thinks can handle the back and forth better than anybody.
Jim, Alex Rodriguez is inching towards 3,000 hits. He's about to complete that accomplishment. Is this, amidst all the controversy, this is still a special moment for Alex Rodriguez, I'm sure. Is it special for his teammates as well?
Well, I mean, 3,000 hits, no matter what, is an accomplishment. Is that magic number in sports, especially in baseball. And no matter what's going on, to be able to amass 3,000 hits in a career is important. And no matter what with A-Rod, I think it's going to be something that they all celebrate. And you know what? I hope the younger guys on the team, the Headleys and the guys that haven't been around as much, really appreciate what it takes to get those 3,000 hits, because you're talking about a guy that was, MVP a couple times and at the top of his game for many, many years, and at 40-something, at almost 40 years old, is just getting that 3,000 hits. That's how tough it is to get.
All right, Jim, big weekend for you. Of course, two of your greatest accomplishments on the field. You're going to be managing your son and also the Old Timers Day. I mean, very, very emotional weekend for you, right?
Yes, this is everything is coming full circle pretty quickly, and it's all happening in this 1 week. I mean, again, to have Kelly Stinnett, who's my son's manager, call me up and say, "Listen, I need to go away for a day on June 17th. Can you happen to be in town and come manage your son for a day? I know you get a big kick out of that." And they haven't fallen the same weekend as Old Timers. This is going to be a week to remember for me, especially after everything we've been through.
You should see the look on Levack's face. This douchebag is still trying to get you to cry. He thinks he's so good right now.
I am way too excited and way too looking forward to this stuff. It's like Derek Jeter said, I should have cried probably my last game in Yankee Stadium, but when I got that hit, I was too damn excited. I couldn't cry. I'm at the same point. It's overwhelming to a point where you would normally, if you had a chance to think about it, break down, but it's all happening in this 1 week, and it's just a lot to take in, and I'm actually excited for it. So it's more of a pump-up than it is, that reminiscing, crying part. So, Levack, I'm sorry, man. I don't see it coming.
I'll call you right after the game.
Well, Jim, look, man.
It'll be on TV. You'll be able to see whether or not I broke down or not.
There you go. Jim, it's been great getting to know you over these last couple months. We're looking forward to obviously kicking butt, continuing through the Yankee season and well into the future as well. And, people ask me all the time, how'd you get Jim Leyritz on? And, you and I had talked many times off the air as well. And when I was calling around, I got phone calls from the president of ESPN New York, from the president of the Yes Network, from those close to the Steinbrenner family. And you have so many people support, and I know you know that. And it's going to be great to see you on the field at Old Timers Day this weekend. It'll be big for Levack and myself as well to see you out there. So congratulations, and congratulations on coaching and managing your team's son tonight as well, man. And just enjoy the moment and enjoy the weekend.
All right, guys. Thanks for everything. And I'm happy to be a part of this team. We're a good team.